These are 20 things that you need to know about the new Apex Legends season, Revelry. Now, some of these things you may have already heard, but trust me, you're going to want to see these changes too. I was fortunate to be invited to play this new season early, so I want to give a special shout out to EA and Respawn for giving me that opportunity. Anyways, let's dive right into this. Number 1. It's been over a year since Apex added a new weapon. The last gun we had was the Car SMG, all the way back in Season 11. However, now we finally have a new gun in Apex, the Nemesis AR. Some of you may have heard about this, but you haven't seen it in its full effect. This energy AR has a 4-round burst, and you can hold down the trigger to auto burst it if you'd like, or you can tap fire it. It's a similar mechanic to like the EVA 8 or the Mozambique, where you can just hold down the trigger and it will be automatic, but I just prefer to use the burst normally without holding down the trigger. Regardless what you choose to do, just know this weapon will dominate the meta this season. And that is assuming it doesn't get nerfed shortly after its release. It takes all of the normal attachments that you would think, like barrel stabilizers, standard stocks, energy mags, and AR sights. I found this gun to have a pretty simple feel to it. There's no extreme recoil pattern, and there's honestly some really cool sounds and animations like the way the gun reloads. And also for anyone who cares about this stuff, the iron sights on it are actually really good too. The Nemesis also has this sort of built-in passive where the more you shoot the gun, the less wait time there is between bursts. And this can create an absolutely insane fire rate and damage output. I think it's what's going to separate this gun from the other burst weapons, but also not make it feel so awkward. It's going to be a really fluid weapon, so look out for it this season. Number 2, all of the legends have been broken up into 5 distinct classes. So from now on, it's going to be Skirmisher, Recon, Support, Controller, and Assault. For Skirmisher, the legends are Pathfinder, Wraith, Mirage, Octane, Horizon, Valk. Now these legends will have a special perk, and this perk is that they can reveal the highest tier item in a care package before and after it lands from a very far distance. They will also know whether or not every package on the map has been looted. If you see a care package coming down 200 meters away, you will be able to not only see that very clearly, you can ping it, you can see that it has an RE45 in it, or whatever the highest tiered item in the package is, and you can know if it's been taken. I've seen a lot of comments saying that, oh, this is the worst perk they could have gave this class, and saying it's underwhelming, but I don't really see it that way. I see it as more of a risk and reward for the items that will be found in care packages. You can get info if a team is there because you'll know if it's been taken. You can know if going for that care package is worth it because you'll see what item is in it, and you'll know, hey, it's just a purple armor and we already have purple armors. We don't have to go over there for it. But on the flip side, if you see it's a Kraber and you really want to get it, then you know going for that package, even if it's in a risky spot, is well worth it. For the Recon class, it's going to be Bloodhound, Crypto, Seer, and Vantage, and the perk that these legends get is they're going to be able to scan survey beacons, but survey beacons have been reworked. Survey beacons will now reveal the location of every enemy on the map in a fashion very similar to how Crypto's map room works on Kings Canyon. This will be for about 30 seconds, but the nearby enemies will be alerted that they have been scanned. So it's actually not going to be this free UAV for the Recon Legends. There's going to be some outplay there, because if you look at the map and you see that there's a survey beacon, well, you can put together probably that that team is the one that scanned you, so you'll have a rough idea of where that team is too. The support legends are going to be Gibraltar, Lifeline, Loba, and Newcastle, and they may just as well get the best perks out of all of the other legend classes. They actually get 2. The first is they're going to open the blue supply bins, and they also get access to the extended part of those supply bins, which have been severely buffed. They're going to drop shield batteries, med kits, phoenix kits, things like heat shields or mobile respawn beacons. But they're also going to be able to craft their teammates' banners, and that doesn't matter if the banner has expired. It's 30 crafting materials for your teammate's banner. This is honestly an awesome change. I tested it in game really quickly, and it seems like it's going to be a huge help, and it's going to actually add this whole new layer to Apex where if you die and your banner time's out, the game's not officially over. So I think this is probably one of the coolest things they've ever added through crafting. And it's not just for a legend like Loba that a lot of the community wanted. It's going to be for all of the support legends, which is great. Controller legends, which I don't know why they gave it that name. It's more of like the defensive legends. Caustic, Watson, Rampart, and Catalyst all have this new perk that will give them access to these new ring consoles. These are going to replace the current functionality of survey beacons, so now the defensive legends will be able to reveal the next location of the ring. This makes a lot more sense than the recon legends being able to do it, so I welcome this change as well. Now the last legend class we have are the assault legends, so Bangalore, Revenant, Fuse, Ash, and Mad Maggie. These legends will have access to a secret compartment in these new darker red weapon supply bins, and this will give them smart loot, the attachments more specifically for whatever weapons or things they may need at the time. And also, Assault Legends will be able to carry an extra stack of ammo per inventory slot. So if you were going to carry an R301 and you had 60 light ammo, well, now you can carry 80 with these legends. Okay, number 3. When I played, there were no significant changes to any of the maps. This may change because I've heard some things online and people talking about streamer building being deleted. That was not the case when I played. However, in the event nothing does change, the rotation of the maps is going to be Storm Point, Broken Moon, and World's Edge. All 3 maps will have a newish version of Mirage Voyage planted on the maps. So on World's Edge, it'll be where it used to be, between Thermal and Staging. On Broken Moon, it will be in between Divide. And on Storm Point, it's going to be somewhere around Fish Farms. The maps will also have red decorations across them in celebration with Apex's 4th anniversary, and during the beginning of every match, jets with red streaks will fly over the sky. Now, speaking of anniversary, let's talk about number 4. If you guys really want a specific heirloom, you're probably going to want to know about the anniversary collection event. Now, a couple years ago, they did a similar event to this where they released a collection event for the anniversary of Apex, and the heirloom was actually just heirloom shards. So if you bought all of the items in the collection event, you were able to get whichever heirloom you wanted, which I thought was a great idea, and it really gave power to the customer in terms of paying for what they want. So they're going to do that again this season. I'm not sure if the collection event will be live as soon as the season drops, but it will definitely be shortly after the season if it's not right away. Number 5, Arenas is gone, and taking place of the Arenas playlist is going to be something called Mixtape. For the first 3 weeks, it's going to be Team Deathmatch, and then after that, it will rotate with modes like Control, Gun Run, Team Deathmatch, and hopefully some new LTMs. They hinted at they are working towards other LTMs to fill this playlist with, but we don't know much more than that at this time. Number 6, Team Deathmatch is an awesome game mode, but I want to expand on some of the details around the mode. So first off, the devs want this mixtape playlist to be a casual mode, where players can get reps in around fighting and learn to play Apex through some other game modes. For that reason, there will be no ranked Team Deathmatch or ranked Control. How does Team Deathmatch work, you might be wondering? Well, it's teams of 6, and no, you can't 6-stack this mode. You can play with 2 of your friends like all of the other modes, but you'll have 3 randoms to fill out the rest of your squad. There's 2 rounds, and it's the first team to 30 kills per round. Once there's 30 kills, there's a halftime. Loadouts will rotate to different ones, and teams will switch sides. You cannot change your legend during the match once you begin, but you can change your loadouts around. The first team to reach 60 kills will be the winner of the game. The maps are going to be Skulltown, Party Crasher, and Habitat, with the hopes of other maps being added soon. Now I want to say this is a great warm-up for the BR mode, or just a way to enjoy Apex from a totally different angle. Number 7, they updated the firing range pretty significantly. You can change the settings of what you want the target dummies to do now. They can move, strafe, crouch, etc. You can select which shield type you want them to have. You can toggle on unlimited ammo, finally, so you don't have to return back to where the ammo is. Along with all of that though, there is a bar at the top of the screen that can track specific stats while you're in the firing range. Things like how many headshots you're hitting, your accuracy, your damage, and much more. This is a very good change for the firing range, and I know everybody will enjoy it. Number 8, the Hemlock is entering the care package and the Rampage is coming out. This version of the Hemlock is something we've never seen before. It's extremely OP now. They increased the damage, they increased the headshot multiplier damage, they gave it the boosted loader, and the bursts are much faster now too. This will be a very good care package weapon this season, so do not sleep on it. Number 9, there were some changes to the shotgun class. So for now, standard stocks can go on the Peacekeeper, Mastiff, and EVA 8. Now this will buff handling times and reload speeds, and that makes a significant difference on a weapon like the Peacekeeper. They also added in a gold shotgun bolt, which not only increases the fire rate of the weapon, but it also works like a new and improved kinetic feeder. This will automatically reload your gun if you slide, but it will also work when the gun is holstered too. Now, I have to say, this is an insane attachment for these shotguns, and it's going to bring back a shotgun meta. They also improved the projectile of up-close pellet sprays. And according to the devs, this means that there should be less 7, 8s, 9s, and 11s with these shotguns. They want it to feel a bit more consistent when you're shooting an enemy up close. Number 10. Now let's talk about some bad news. There were 0 changes to the current ranked mode. I know this will disappoint a lot of people because ranked has been in sort of a rough state these last 2 seasons. However, instead of having 45-day splits on one map and then rotating it to another map in the second split, going forward, ranked will rotate on a 24-hour basis with the maps Storm Point, World's Edge, and Broken Moon. I appreciate this small change, and I hope for more changes to the ranked mode and the rewards in the near future. Number 11, they nerfed all assault rifle hipfire. So no longer can you count on the R301 or the flatline being insanely consistent up close. This also affects the weapons like the Nemesis, the Hemlock, and others. But for now, I think this will shake up the meta. You can't just count on the R301 being the best gun up close, at mid-range, and long range. They also nerfed its damage from 14 down to 13. Now, I kind of like that they lowered the damage because the R301 has been dominating the meta for, I don't know, since the game came out. But I didn't really enjoy the nerfs to the hipfire sprays. I like hip firing in Apex because it feels like a unique mechanic that other FPS games lack. However, I'm sure they have good reason for it. And that brings us on to number 12. Let's get into some of the legend changes. Lifeline is going to be the first legend that got buffed. The slow penalty on her revive animation has been reduced significantly. This means that Lifeline can pull off some more riskier revives without having that penalty of not having her gun drawn. They also increased her care package speed from when you call it in to when it lands. You'll have quicker access to the items in her care package now. These aren't significant buffs for Lifeline by any means, but I think they're small changes that nudge her in the right direction. Number 13, Mirage also received a couple small buffs. First one is, after he revives a teammate, they will both now be cloaked as long as they're unarmed. This is only for a brief 3 seconds. However, if either one of them pull their gun out, it will uncloak them. The other buff is that when Mirage sends out a decoy, whether through his tactical or ultimate, and an enemy falls for the decoy and gets bamboozled, it will now give info briefly to Mirage and his teammates about who shot the decoy. Number 14, Pathfinder's zipline has been buffed significantly. You can now travel from one POI to another. Now, I don't have an exact range on it, but it could be well beyond 200 meters that you can travel. The speed at which you use Pathfinder's zipline has also been increased. It is going to be very difficult for enemies to track someone taking a Pathfinder zipline. This will put Pathfinder fully back into the meta, as it won't be necessary to run a Valkyrie anymore to make large rotations throughout the map. I think this is one of my favorite changes so far this season. Number 15, Wraith also received a significant buff to her portal. It can now reach 2 times the distance as it previously could. So it used to only reach 75 meters, but now it can go up to 150 meters. And as Wraith gets further along in the portal, she begins to speed up towards the end. This should also bring Wraith back into the meta, as her portal has been stuck in a weird place for years. I think we will see Wraith and Pathfinder return to the Legend meta in Season 16. Let's move on to the legends that received some nerfs in this new update. First up, number 16, Horizon. They altered the accuracy while utilizing a gravity lift, which is honestly a really healthy change. This change silently rolled out a few weeks ago and they had to revert it because it came a little early. But now you're also going to get a trade-off. So yes, your accuracy isn't as good, but the speed in which you rise on the gravity lift has been increased. So it's kind of a give and take, but ultimately they wanted this ability to be like every other movement ability where you don't get 100% accuracy while utilizing it. Number 17, the long awaited nerfs to Seer. So first is his ultimate is going to be on a much longer cooldown. I think it's around 4 minutes, but I'm not 100% sure. His heartbeat sensor also works much differently now. There's a charge up to it, so you can't just spam it constantly. And you're only going to get the scan on the heartbeat pulses. It's not a constant reveal of where the enemy is going or where they are. The yellow on the heartbeat is also not as visible. It looks like they toned that down. So this makes for lining up his tactical much harder. The other change is the heartbeat sensor is now audible, which that's already in the game today, but wasn't officially released in any patch notes. Number 18, Bloodhound also received some nerfs in this update, and what they said they really wanted to do was change Bloodhound's power from scanning to being more of a tracker. So when you use a Bloodhound ultimate, you won't get those sped up scans and you won't get more of those scans. Instead, you'll still have one or maybe two of them depending on your timing of the usage, but you will see a white raven. And if you walk up to the white raven, you can interact with it, and this will guide you to the next closest fight. Of course, this is only helpful if you're using your ult and there's nobody immediately in front of you. Otherwise, I didn't notice too many other changes with Bloodhound. It'll still up the timer if you get kills while using the ultimate, but other than that, the scans seem to work very similar to before. Number 19, if you're a brand new player or you have some friends that want to try out Apex for the first time, well, they're releasing something called orientation matches. These are going to be full games, but 16 of the squads will be AI, and only 4 teams in the game will be real players. The matches will be played on Kings Canyon, and you'll have to play a few matches to orient yourself with Apex. I'm assuming there's some challenges that people have to complete, but if you want to play with your friends while you do this, you certainly can, which I think is a great touch to this. But now new players don't have to be thrown into crazy matches with their friends who may be higher level or better than them, and they can just play a slower match, get used to the game, the pacing, the weapons, etc. And I think this is a great addition for anybody who wants to get back into Apex or try it out for the first time. Number 20, this is a short and sweet one, but hammer points are back. If you enjoyed this video and you want to see more content, I hope you'll consider subscribing. And in the meantime, if you're interested in improving your game sense, well, I covered everything you need to know in this video here. Check it out next. Thanks for watching. Peace.